Welcome back, boys and girls. And today I want to talk about what I think is the most underrated hunting caliber, and that's 338 Federal, and the rifle, which is DPMS. After shooting the buck with my 338 on my last hunt, many of you showed a lot of interest on this caliber and the rifle. And some of you asked me how I was so confident to shoot through the brush and thread a shot between the trees. Let's talk about it. First, let's talk about 338 Federal. I really believe 338 Federal is the best caliber in short action for all North American game within 300 yards. Here are 330 calibers in short action that I use for hunting. First one is 308, and then I got 338 Federal, and then I got 358 Winchester. Now, if I had to pick one caliber for all North American hunt, I'll go with 338 Federal, and I'll tell you why. In Virginia, in many cases, we have to shoot through the brush, and 358 might be the best brush rifle, but if I have to make a further shot, that tends to drop pretty quickly. Okay, let's take a look at the three calibers. We got 308, 338 Federal, and 358 Winchester. Now, if you look at it, the energy on 338 Federal beats both of them at any distance. And if you zero in your rifle at 200 yards, if you're shooting 180 grain with 308 and 200 grain with 338 Federal, 338 Federal actually drops a little bit less. And even out to 400 yards, it's flatter shooting. Whereas 358 is great out to, I would say, about 200 yards, but then after 300 yards, it will drop pretty quickly, and it will lose its energy as well. As for the ammunition, I'm shooting American Eagle 185 grain soft nose and Power Shot by Federal 200 grain. Now, funny thing is, even though there's about 15 grain difference, point of impact is exactly the same at 100 yards, but I'm getting a little bit tighter group with this. Usually I have no problem shooting under 1 inch group at 100 yards, but with this, it's just about a 1 inch group, which is still very exceptional. And I was really lucky because about 7-8 years ago, this caliber was so unpopular, they had a huge sale. And from Midway, I think I got almost half price off of on the Power Shot. I bought 10 boxes of it. And with American Eagle, I bought 20 boxes. And I'm still using it. I think I went through about half of what I have. But I don't have to worry about the ammunition probably for the next 5 years. And if I run out, I'm going to reload it. Okay, this is 6.5 Creedmoor and this 338 Federal. Now, 6.5 Creedmoor was introduced to us in 2007. And 338 Federal was introduced to us in 2006. Whereas 6.5 Creedmoor really got popular really quick. And there is tons of ammunitions out there and you could have a lot of selections. Whereas 338 Federal never caught up. It's a great hunting caliber, it's got the energy, and it's actually better shooting than 308. But I think it's almost unfair how unpopular that 338 Federal is. If you try to find ammunition for it, you might get 3 or 4 selections. That's about it. That's another reason why nobody's buying it, because the selection of ammunition is so limited, that kind of puts a hinder for hunters. And I think the reason why 6.5 Creedmoor became so popular is most hunters in America are deer hunters. And 6.5 Creedmoor is more than enough. And this is flatter shooting. And we talk about the long range shooting and so forth. So that took off really quick. Whereas a lot of hunters, when I show them 338 Federal, they think it's too heavy and they don't think it's flat enough shooting. But that's not true. I bought this rifle from my brother, but our daughter Rachel became very quickly attached to this rifle and she claimed it by giving a name and she called it Sniper. And this is the only rifle that she will hunt with, and there's a good reason for that. Now let's talk about why our Rachel would only use this rifle for hunting. Now in Virginia, as you've seen on my channel, we have a lot of trees, we have a lot of brushes. It is very, very rare you'll have a clear open shot. So you have to take what you can, otherwise you might never fill your tag. Now with this rifle, she shot them through the brush and she shot the vitals through the small gaps when the deers are not moving, and she never missed and she never lost a deer with this, and she never even needed a second shot. Always one shot, one kill. Oh wow, that's a perfect shot placement. Oh, look at that.
It's pretty big. It's
Yeah.
bigger than I thought it was going to be.
Well,
Oh, it's actually not a doe.
yeah, it's a spike.
I thought it was a doe.
This should make it really good eating. Okay. So for her, this is the only hunting rifle that she'll use. Now, if you see my last hunt, you see me pulling a trigger with this rifle at a small gap where it was about 100 yards away. It looks a lot closer because I had my camera zoomed in 2.7 power, but it was about 100 yards and I had a perfect view of his heart. And I pulled the trigger and that was it. And then I see a buck come out right there. I don't know if you could see it or not, It's kind of hard to see it from this camera angle, but on my scope, I had a clear shot at him. Now, for me to be confident enough to pull the trigger in that kind of situation, first, I had a very steady rest on my rifle, so I know it wasn't moving at all. Second, I know the point of impact and the accuracy of this rifle. So at 100 yards, I could hit the size of clay pigeon every time. And I also had a confidence in 338 Federal is more than enough to go through small branches or whatever, so I had no hesitation. Matt. I can't believe that just happened. Oh my God. 2 big bugs with 4 or 5 does. At this late season, having a big bug with still with a doe and still have the antlers on their head was amazing. And now we have antlerless only deer season till the end of March. As I mentioned, 338 is perfect caliber for this kind of area. You're looking at about 100 yards and we got a lot of brushes everywhere. It's heavy enough, but it's accurate out to 200 yards, and it's really, really hard hitting. She didn't probably ran what 10 yards or so, and she just went down, and she expired really fast. Now let's talk about the rifle. Now it's a shame they say DPMS is going out of business because I have 3 DPMS rifle in 223, 308, and 330 Federal, and they all shoot under 1 inch at 100 yards. And they're very light rifle actually, and they're very accurate. And the function was very exceptional, never had any problem. So I don't know why. This rifle is lightweight rifle for AR-10 platform, especially in 338 Federal. Now, only thing that I don't like about it is this butt stock. I know this is a military spec, so this is in metal and hard plastic. So you do have to get extra recoil pad like this one from a limb saver and put a little slit in the bottom so you could go through that ring right there and then just install it and it's fine. Now, the reason why I have my scope mounted kind of high is that unless you're shooting from a prone position, having a scope really low on AR platform is not easy because you really have to duck down and try to find the target. And if the deer comes in different direction, it's really harder trying to tuck down and trying to find the line of sight. Now, if you have a little bit higher, it is so much quicker to find the deer really quick at any direction, and you have a really clear sight on your scope. And having a muzzle brake is a bonus. Not only does it make a soft shooting and give you faster follow shot, but this also disperses the sound, and many times you see it on my video, the deers get confused where the shot came from, so after getting shot, they'll actually run towards you and then drop. It makes it a lot easier to track them. That was probably about 100 yard shot, but he actually ran toward me, and I think he collapsed around 50, 60 yards from me. Coming from this side over here.
Yeah.
Okay, so you made a shot, she dropped on the spot?
No, she literally came running towards me actually. So it's sitting right there.
Oh, it's right there?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go and check it out. Well, let's go and see how this did on a 100-yard target. But I do have to make an excuse here. I went out 2 days ago and it was windy. We had a wind factor of about 50 miles an hour and it was cold. It was like in mid-30s. But I had to go because that was the only day that I had an opening this week. Okay, I'm just gonna squeeze off 1 round of the bottom target in the center. Okay, I'm gonna be taking 3 shots at 100 yards, left lower target. Whew. Second shot at 100. Third shot at 100 yards. Probably a little more than an inch. I usually shoot under 1 inch with this, but I'm gonna show you as it is. Okay, this is 100 yards. There's 1, 2, 3. The sticker here fell off, so that's from different shooting. Okay, here's the target, and if you look at it, it just barely passed 1 inch. It's 1 and a 1/8 of an inch. And in most cases, I have no problem shooting under 1 inch with this rifle. But for me, if you look at it, that's the bullseye. It's very, very accurate. And I wish I could claim that was my third shot, but that wasn't. That's where the sticker fell off. So my shot was 1, 2, 3. And again, when your rifle shoots like this, you really don't have to hesitate pulling a trigger at 100 yards when you have a perfect opening to vital organs. Well, there you have it. That's my thought on 338 Federal. And lastly, like always, thank God for what you have. Enjoy your life with what you got. But mostly, God bless 2021. See ya.